Hey, you ever thought about getting a bike that reflects your personality? Kind of like, your dog, your car, your house, any of that kind of stuff? Bikes, you can do the same thing with cruisers especially. You can do road riding, mountain biking, hybrid riding on bike paths and so forth, but nothing tells a story about you and your personality is a cruiser. Cruisers are awesome little bikes to just tool around the neighborhood, go to your local restaurants, that kind of thing. We sold quite a few of these back in the day around campus. Hey, these are freaking awesome. And what a great way to express yourself and the style you're riding with a nice kind of cool cruiser. And this one, you don't have to buy new. Those are kind of expensive. These retro style updated versions are still the same that they have been for the last 10 to 15 years. So pick yourself up a used one and do a little refurbish job like I'm going to do on this one. Express yourself, express your style. You know you need another bike in your garage, like me in a hole in the head, but hey, why not? This is what I do. Any case, let's dive into this and show you what needs to be done to get this up to style speed after this. Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with the guy. Hi, I'm Justin the Guy. Obviously I have a garage shop. Take scary out of used, one bike at a time. If you want to be kept up to date on latest projects and topics, please like and subscribe. Hey, welcome back to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with the guy. Hey, I'm Justin the Guy on this old bike series. These classic cruisers, yes, Electras. Not Electra Assist bike. Well, they do make a version of that, but that's nor here nor there. Electra Cruisers are up there with your classic styles, beach cruisers of the 50s and the 60s. You remember the Phantom or a couple of other Schwinn ones that I don't remember their names? John Deere had one, which was kind of crazy. My parents had a pair of those. But in any case, back to this particular cruiser here. Cruiser company has been updating the style vintage for several decades now. Reason being is it's just cool, right? There's Electra Cruisers, which is now owned by Trek, which they're originally based out of California, I believe, and they made a variety of different styles. This is a traditional style cruiser. They do have what they have a kickback. It's kind of like what they call the Townie, which is a little more laid back style. So that's also designed either with multiple 7-speeds or so forth, and they've actually put e-motors on those, which is kind of cool. I had this one girl just like smoke me on the bike path, and she was just, having a great old time, just cruising down the path, and I'm like, you don't, and I'm like chasing, and then I couldn't catch up because I can't beat a cruiser e-bike for the life of me, I guess, I don't know. In any case, my pride was definitely knocked down a notch, and here I am. But in any case, here we are with the cruiser bikes. This one I picked up. I picked up a few of these just for fun because I just think they're just fun. And I've gone through a couple of them, and now we're going through the laundry list of things they're working on. This is the polka dot one, which is really kind of cool. Nice, pretty blue. It has a little bit of sun fading. So what we're going to do with this particular one, which I do to a lot of bikes, obviously I'm going to strip it down, clean it really good, do the technical part of it, of course, adjusting the headset, bottom bracket, hubs, true the wheels, make sure all the bolts are tight, and then do some extra something to the frame, which I'm going to be doing some Adams polishes here to actually get the paint restored as best as possible. I'm not restoring these, I'm refurbishing. That's a fine line between some people's thought process, but for me, I'm not correcting all the paint in the sense of touch up and that kind of thing to original condition. I'm just getting it to the best state of possible what it's already in. And adding a layer of protection, putting some ceramic coating on there, well, that'll help with the UV breakdown, which is already starting to occur on this a little bit. It also prevents like water shedding and dirt and that kind of thing. But UV protection on this particular one is probably going to be the main focus, using the ceramic coating on this. You can use several other different kinds of ceramic coatings. They're the latest thing for bike detailing. And bike detailing is just pretty much starting off. We've always polished bikes, and I've seen some people use furniture polish. I guess that would work-ish. I mean, anything you put on there is going to give it a little bit of shine. Bike companies back in, like, I would say the late 90s came out with a thing that was kind of like similar to this and called Bike Lust. I mean, it smelled like vanilla. It was all about the scent, right? And it did polish the bike a little bit. I'm not sure what was in that. Started off with a Pedro's product, or maybe it was a Trek product, or whatever the case may be. Maybe it was white labeled. I don't know. But there's a few other ones that are actually from bike brand companies. But for me, hey, you're going to go right to the source. If you want to do it right, you got to do the right stuff. This is car detailing. And car detailing is already gone over beyond whatever bike manufacturer companies have even thought about yet. So you got like corrective paint, scratch and swirl, you got some compound, and you got polishing. Then you have all different kinds of pads to go with that, also different kinds of cloths. And then you got the whole cleaning and ceramic coating and stacking and just this whole thing. And keep in mind, talking to a customer the other day, ceramic coating on your car for a detail shop, you're looking about $1,000 to have done, if not more. That's kind of crazy in my mind, because I'm not in the detail world, but getting into it because of these things, yeah, this is pretty cool. And for me to do a detailing on this, and a bottle of this is like 30, 40 bucks. And it's what, definitely 16 ounces. This will take care of up to almost 8 cars worth. I've gone through, this is my second bottle, and about 2/3 or 1/3 down on this one. And I've gone through, I would say, 4 or 5 bikes already. And I do double layered, and I'm probably not the most efficient because I'm kind of sloppy when I throw it all on the pads, the applicator. But I'm doing multiple layers on the bike itself and the wheels and some other bits to actually give it that protection. And you're talking about seats, grips on something like this, putting on a little chrome and all the little other metal parts. It does help that. It just puts that extra layer of protection, that kind of thing. And water shedding, check out one of my videos on that. Did a little test on mud and water and see what it does with just a straight frame versus a ceramic coating from 2 different brands. I did the Atoms and also the Lithium ceramic slam, and did a kind of a test on those. I still have that frame in the backyard being exposed to all the elements. So in about 6 months, I'm going to pull it out and kind of, let's see what it did. Not that you're going to have your bike sitting outside long periods of time. Well, maybe these college kids and racks and so forth, possibly, and they're not going to do this. We're talking about your flavor of bike that you'll put in the garage when you're done riding, and that kind of coating is going to last a long time. It's just going to have to, or just will. In any case, let's start diving into this. This particular bike is pretty cool. It's like the newer version of the old school 50s style Schwinn Cruisers, right? But what they've done to it is they've added a 3-speed internal hub. I mean, if anybody's ridden a Cruiser with a single speed, that's a workout. Adding a couple extra range of gears, that does help for the little hills through your neighborhood. Definitely a bonus for sure. The Nexus hubs, they do make them from Shimano. Several, they can get up to, I think, 9 or 12 speeds or something like that internally. But the thing is, they can't adjust the range from top to bottom. So the 3-speed is pretty much you get from top to bottom. But those 9-speed Nexus hubs add increments between them, so it makes it a little bit smoother. It's just a capacity thing. I can be totally wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I remember looking into these like 20 years ago. In any case, this 3-speed Nexus hubs from Shimano have been around for several decades now. Has a little grip shift style shifter, which I don't think I can call it a grip shift, because grip shift was coined as SRAM product. The Nexus Shimano twist grip, that's what they did. Yeah, one of those things. Not I will be in trouble by talking about it, but in any case, these are kind of tanks. I mean, not going to lie, they are kind of beefy. I mean, this is a steel frame with a whole bunch of extra tubing, fenders, steel one-piece crank. So there's not a lot of light uplifting, but you do have alloy rims, painted to match spokes. Definitely a style feature. Painted to match aluminum rims. I believe these are aluminum. Match as well, and alloy hubs. So even the Nexus hub is an alloy from Shimano, but they also match it up to some alloy version of the front, shiny and so forth. But the paint jobs are really kind of cool. It does have the dual spring saddle, so it gives you that little extra comfort. they're just fun to ride. I mean, they're fun. I mean, how can you, I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, you jump on it and you go and have a great time. I have a couple of these myself personally, and they're just fun. I have like the newer version, which is like the Roll from Specialized. Same concept, a little bit bigger tire, but in any case, it just puts a smile on your face and you're just going down the path. You're not going to get there quick, but you don't really care. You're enjoying the ride. Sometimes it's just enjoying the ride, right? This is what these are all about, with a little bit of, or a lot of style, because you roll up these to your local restaurant, beverage place, whatever you want to go, or pick up your kids from school kind of thing. Hey, you got a little style to you. And when these are all cleaned up and polished, they're really cool. And there's several other companies out there that make these. I think a Nerve is one of them that comes to mind. There's a couple others, like Felt made some for New Belgium. And New Belgium also is a brewery in Fort Collins where they've always known to have New Belgium bikes, but they've used several different brands over the years. Okay, I'm going on a little sidebar here. So Fat Tire beer, which is a staple of a microbrew in Colorado, and this has been going on for several decades now. Now's their leading amber, which they've switched it. Pooey on them. But in any case, the Fat Tire bottled New Belgium beer has gotten so popular that they had cruisers with that Fat Tire stamp on it. And most of them were just given to their employees when they made like a 1 year mark or what have you. Well, for a long time, Electra was making those Fat Tire designed, colored. They were kind of cool. Then they switched over to Felt and Detroit Cycles and a couple others in between. So they're constantly changing it, mainly probably because of price and availability, because some of these companies just don't have that ability. And I'm pretty sure what may have happened is when Trek bought them, they lost those kind of contracts, that kind of thing. Otterbox was another one that used the Electra bikes for their branding, those big old yellow things for a lot of their companies. I remember those, about 60 of those things rolling in the shop. I mean, literally in boxes, and you had to like build all these things. They're really cool, but man, they had the big rack up front, also because of crazy stuff. Really super heavy, made by Electra as well. In any case, Electra Cruisers have always been kind of fun in the sense of just the brand, but it's also been branched out to branding for other companies. New Belgium, Otterbox, various other companies like so. So in any case, you may see those out there, and those New Belgium Fat Tire ones, they're not cheap. Now, those people like to hold on. I mean, they're nothing really any different than this except for the Fat Tire New Belgium stamp on there somewhere. But that stamp and sticker, like anything that has a novelty to it, has a price, right? In any case, that's why they're so cool. And they still do those today at New Belgium, even though the company's been bought. And they have also expanded to another location. They have another bottling facility in, I'm trying to remember what state, somewhere east and south, somewhere a lot warmer than here, or more humid too. But in any case, nor here nor there. But this is a pretty sweet bike, and we're just going to take this down, clean the rims, clean the hubs, detail the frame, adjusting the bits. Granted, these are simple too. I mean, ish to a level, it's one speed style cable or chain, and then you have only one cable, and it's pedal backwards brake with the coaster brake design. So it takes a lot of those tech pieces out of the equation. And although they do make some that do have like the caliper, V-brakes, and disc brakes and that kind of thing too, that's just different models of them. But this is your standard straight up cruisers, which is kind of the nice simplicity to it. It's kind of like your adult BMX style bike. And being a BMX rider back in the 70s, I'm dating myself, that is something that just got you around the neighborhood. These are really cool, and they do make kids versions of these, which is really cool. My daughter had one. She had a little rat rod, whatever. It's the red one. Put some coaster, actually training wheels on it. Just took off through the neighborhood like bat out of hell. So, and you'd think you would slow her down. No, but in any case, I'm just like chasing after her, like, where you going? In any case, here we are. Let's just dive into this beaut. Take her apart. here we have it. We have it disassembled. I took the cable out and just to inspect it, plus it enables me to get to the frame and clean this all up. I will thread this through it. I don't feel like I need to take the crank off per se, but you know, feeling that right now. Might definitely need some adjustment. You see how it just kind of stops and index a little? That probably means that the bottom bracket is a little tight. Since I'm taking that off, I'll probably squirt some grease in there. There is no seal bearings in the back or covers here on these old school 3-piece cranks, so they are exposed to elements to some level, so you want to basically back that off and grease it up inside. Here we have the frame, actually, you know, cool little stamping there. And what else? I found something really interesting underneath here. The serial numbers are going to be underneath here, but Derby Cycles is the one this came from, and it has little stamps of when it was born or through the shop. Looks like 18 and what was that? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So July of what have you. Of 18. So that basically tells you pretty much the year of the bike, and they have their own little sticker here, Derby Cycles. So, and cleaning that up, and also this gives you opportunity to check the headset too. It seems to be okay. A little bit of surface rust. I'm going to try to clean it off the bell. I mean, the bell does match the actual polka dot theme with the grips. Hopefully I can get that to be cleaned up. But the shifting, it works pretty good. So that's a win. The saddle, that matches. This will clean up really well. So that's a win as well. In addition to looking at the faded wheels here, and I want to feature these a little bit before and after, because you got some dulling and they're flat. They've been sitting for a long time. So we'll see if we can get these tires to be popped. And you can see how dirty that Nexus hub is, that kind of thing. The fenders, I mean, I can't complain too much because, you know, it's still in really good shape. Just been sitting for a long time. And the funny thing is, the bolt on this reminds me, there's a little bit of plastic came off of this one, which was the internal bolt. Well, when these came new, they have the fender already put on the back, and they would have a layer of plastic, and you peel it off. But it looks like the mechanic here was not going to take this bolt out and pull the plastic off. So that's what made it a little difficult to take off. The chain, just the basic chain. I did buy some newer chains to go on these. They're not expensive lift, and they have a little more of a coolness factor to them. This is like a black with a plating internally, so I think they'll look a lot more sharp than just this standard reddish not rust yet, but close to. And that's the pin that goes into the 3-speed. That's the clamp arm or brake arm for the coaster brake that goes on that. And then this does have the fender up front. I kept the bolts accordingly, so when you disassemble something like this, you want to, because they come with a lot of different Allens, or this one's Allen bolts, but sometimes they're just like 10mm screw bolts, that kind of thing. So I usually match it up with the fenders, you know, those parts there, and also the front, so I don't get them mixed up. So when I'm putting them back together, I have all the right bolts. So there's a lot of these that come to these. I also wanted to feature and talk about the tools. Talking about the simplicity of the bike. All I needed was a chain tool to take it off. A lot of times the chain, well, I have a master link. Sometimes you don't even, not even this. I did get a socket version of the Allen 4mm. I had one of those tricky, but really you just need a 4mm Allen, a 10 and a 15 and another 10, which I used the socket here to get like the reflector off. Also this clamp bolt had 2 10mm there. So the tools needed are very minimal to strip it down to this level here. Granted, if you're going to use or adjust the headset, these I believe were used to be a 32, which would be a tool like this to adjust the headset. So you got 2 nut and an adjuster cone there. And I believe the same tool, if you picked it up from Amazon or what have you, works, if not the 32, I think the 36 There might be a 34 in there too. Oh, no, 32 works. And now that's the adjuster nut. And you see these slots? You can try to use that with screwdrivers or weird pliers, but actually it's these guys here. And that's what you can use. It's a pin spanner tool. That is what you adjust that inside bit. So the only extra tools to do these, this is a 15 millimeter to take that off there. So 3 tools extra if you're going to completely disassemble and overhaul those bottom bracket and headset. Other than that, that's really about it for the tool lift. Something like this you probably already have at home. Costs on tools like this, I would say at the top end, maybe $50 to $60. But other than that, you can probably have the tools already have to start diving into that. But let me dive into this and start polishing up, and we'll do a review after I get this all done. So these are the tools, primarily what I used for the most part to get the bike disassembled and reassembled. And here is the parts ceramic cleaned and ceramic coated and polished. So look at that. Ooh, look at the shine. Oh, that's super shiny. Oh, what's this? Yeah, I had to take apart the crankset. These little ball bearings were falling out of the cage when I opened it up. So that being said, it's getting a bottom bracket overhaul. Oh, look at that chain protector. Oh, the super shine. Almost brand new. And yes, I'm going to be putting on a new chain. And then the back fender, look at this. So the only thing I really found was a couple little scratches or what have you at the end here. But yeah, and what is, oh, smoking, looking good looking wheels. You see how that ceramic coating has really kind of brought out the original color from that ash tone to more of a rich, as well as the rim, and also treated the tires with some Armor All. That'll give it a little bit of nicer shine, but overall, man, look how good, oh man, those wheels are just, I can't get over how nice those wheels turned out. They were pretty ugly before, and here it is. Whew. Look at that deep shine and super smooth. I've already knocked it down, but yeah, that's the bottom bracket. I'm gonna have to put back together. And there's the shine of the chainsaw. This frame turned out to be a point where I don't think there's like one micro little chip and a couple little scratches, but it is pretty much in new condition and cleaned up the grips, the shifters, the bars, and the seat. This is going to make one awesome bike for somebody for sure. Let's recap. To be honest, this bike took a lot longer. I mean, went down a couple rabbit holes with the crank, had to get a new tube, had to go to the store, grab a tube, and all sorts of extra coatings, and did a ceramic. This frame just was begging to be cleaned and polished, and it did not come short of how shiny and new-like this is. I mean, honestly, I've had bikes new on the floor that had more scrapes from shop wear versus this here. So this bike is going to be immaculate. The bottom bracket, that was kind of crazy. I loosened it up and I heard a ball bearing pop out. I'm like, that is not right. You see, this is a caged bearing system. Basically, they put a cage in there to reduce the cost of another bearing in there and that kind of thing. And also the ease of replacing it. Correct me if I'm wrong, put it in the comments below, but that's what I was told back in the day. A lot of the bottom brackets nowadays are a cartridge system. You don't even see the ball bearings anymore. And also, there's no seal system. This is the race here, and that has a level of exposure. Granted, this doesn't get a lot of submerging water or rain and that kind of thing, but it was pretty gunky. The headset's actually fine in this and smooth, so that doesn't need to be addressed, but definitely the bottom bracket did because it was notching like I showed before. Once it gets assembled, it's going to be smooth as silk, as much as a one-piece crank. And what they call it a one-piece because, bloop, it is one piece. Then you have a cup set that goes back in the day. I showed a buddy of mine having this blown up, texted him, and he was like, oh man, I remember those days. Yeah, they still make them on a lot of bikes still. They're just one of those carryover tech pieces that just never went away. So you'll still see those. And it's pretty simple. Bearings, 2 races, 1 adjusted side, and that's pretty much it. Same thing with all headsets, bottom bracket, hubs. You want them smooth as possible without any play. So that's what you do for your adjustment. And hopefully I'll get it to be silky smooth. These have to be the original pedals with the, the little reflectors in there. Kind of cool. I'll put a little bit of rubber treatment on that. But other than that, using the Adams polishes to shine this up to get the polished paint back to its more corrective state, and topping it off with a ceramic slam from lithium is giving that super shine, high gloss, and also it's going to give that UV protection. So if this guy or gal is out in the sun a lot while riding and so forth, it'll help protect that UV from breaking down the color and make it not look great, because some of these colors that are on this bike will fade, and when they do fade they just kind of look really bad. So that's a really good thing to do to try to protect that paint. Even on your newer bikes that you got that may have paid a little money for, it has a really nice paint job. A little bit of ceramic coating goes a long ways. This is a breakdown detail, so this took a lot to do for a lift, but I do have a video that I'll list below in the comments where you just need to take the wheels off and just kind of wipe it down with the ceramic coating, make sure it's clean first, and that's how you get that added protection. It was on that Bontrager mountain bike that I had before. So in any case, gonna wrap up, throw this together. At this state, it should only take me probably about an hour to get it all back together, and then it's ready. It's ready for the next adventure. Next adventure with the your ponytail flowing in the wind and having a great day. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. It's because of you that makes this channel happen. Thanks for watching. Comments below if you have any cruisers or tricks or tips or anything that's related to this. It's cool. Add to the community. That's what this is after the end of the day. Also, I have other information in the description below. Thanks again for hanging out with me in the garage. I hope you have a wonderful day. But first, before you take off, please check out these fantastic pictures in the sun. And it's sunny out. I'm cranking this thing out so we can actually take a good look of the final results after this. Hey, welcome back to Another Guy Bicycles, hanging with a guy on this old bike series. Hey, I'm the guy. Oh, we just totally did that wrong. Well, not that there's a right way or a wrong way of doing this intro thing, I guess. I don't know. Let's start that over. Guess I'm just out of like normal. Springtime in the Rockies. All right.